Father's dream for America was part of his global vision. And he said in his 1967 Christmas sermon on peace, if we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. He talked about creating a beloved community, a world in which people of every race, religion, and nation could live together in peace and harmony. Racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice would be replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. In the beloved community, international disputes would be resolved by peaceful conflict resolution and reconciliation between adversaries. Love and trust will triumph over fear and hatred. Peace and justice will prevail over war and military conflict. He believed that the beloved community is not a place on the map. It is a state of heart and mind. The beloved community is a spirit of hope and goodwill that transcends all boundaries and barriers and embraces all of creation. Peace is a central element of his dream of the beloved community. I'm therefore very disturbed when our president decides to escalate America's already destructive military occupation of Iraq. In fact, it is estimated just today as the president presented his $2.9 trillion budget. 2.9 trillion, what is that? I mean, how long would it take you to count to $2.9 trillion? But as he presented that budget, along with an estimate of what it's going to cost, we've already spent $500 billion, $500 billion in Iraq. Another $300 billion plus is estimated. Almost $1 trillion in Iraq. 835 billion is what is projected. I don't understand. The president calls this plan a surge, which is really just a euphemism for escalation. A new poll commissioned by a cable news network indicates that 66% of Americans oppose his plan to send more than 20,000 troops to Iraq. Polls taken inside Iraq show overwhelming majorities want the U.S. to leave. Neither the American or Iraqi people, nor our own military leaders, want this war to escalate. Yet this doesn't seem to matter to the commander-in-chief. Iraq is embroiled in a complex, multi-factional civil war, which we helped to escalate. And there's just no way we're going to be able to fix it. The American people know this, and they said so, as I said earlier, on November 7th, on Election Day, as well as in the latest opinion polls. We've lost more than 3,000 of our finest young women and men in this ill-conceived military occupation. Many more have been severely wounded, over 25,000, and hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars have been squandered to make the Middle East more unstable than it ever was before. The United Nations has just reported that more than 34,000 Iraqi civilians died as a result of the war during last year alone. Another 36,000 Iraqis were wounded. A great many of them were children. An estimated 470,000 Iraqis have had to leave their homes during the last year because of all of the violence and bombing. Now, generally, Americans, we don't really care about anybody else. I don't mean us here in Idaho, but I mean America. I mean, we really don't. What is good for America is good for us. We have a sort of, instead of having, we have a tunnel view. All we can see is what impacts us. And unfortunately, the world does not revolve around us. Nor should it, quite frankly. But we believe that it does revolve around us. And we had to believe that to go and do a preemptive strike in the first place. I mean, when in history have we decided You know, we were going after Osama bin Laden, and we were on the right track. We went to Afghanistan for a few days, but our real objective was to go to Iraq and to remove Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein certainly was a person with a lot of issues that was leading a nation in a direction that perhaps we didn't support. But for us to do what we did may one day have severe consequences because we manipulated, a killing. We oversaw the killing of a former head of state. Now, if that was done just by Iraqi people, that's fine, if that's what they choose to do, even though I would be against it, because I'm against the death penalty. But for us, to oversee and glamorize the hanging of a former head of state takes us to a new level of sickness, because the entire crisis was manipulated by us. Now, those who defend this war tell us it's not about oil. But we have to ask ourselves, and those in power, if Iraq had no oil and its primary export was figs, would 100,000, 130,000 U.S. troops be occupying that country? I don't think so.